So if I was gonna go back to college right now, knowing everything that I know about ADHD and dyslexia, there's about 9 things I would do differently. And I'm gonna share those 9 things with you guys right now. Number 1, the first thing I would do is I would check out if your university or your college has an office that's there to help people, students who are disabled, right? Like physically or mentally disabled. Now, you know, sometimes there's some students have like hearing impairments, some students have visual impairments, some students have a hard time getting to class, things like that, because they have like physical impairments. So what this office does, it provides assistance to anyone that, you know, goes and asks for assistance if they have a disability, and you can go ask for help if you have ADHD and dyslexia. Some of the services that they can provide is they can give you guys a person that can take notes for you. So if you have a hard time, you know, taking notes because you're dyslexic, they'll be able to give you guys a copy of one of your classmates' notes, and this classmate will, you know, get compensated for giving you the note. The second thing they can do is you can arrange it, so especially if you have attention issues, you can arrange it so you can get time and a half time when you do your exams. So like if let's say that one of your exams will take you like an hour to complete, well, if you go and ask for help, this office will be able to arrange it with your professor so you get a little bit extra time to do your test. And this really helps if you have a hard time decoding, you know, words, and especially on like multiple choice type stuff, if you really have to like highlight things and get really deep into the test, or you'll make a lot of little mistakes. This will really help you to, you know, be more accurate because you have a lot more time. I didn't actually get to do this when I was in college because I didn't actually know about all these services until like right now. So that's number 1. The second thing I would do is I'm using my notes here. The second thing I would do is I would not take notes in class. What I would do is I would just take a sketchbook, kind of like this, take a big sketchbook, and I would go to the lectures and I would just draw. I would just seriously just like draw what's related to the topic, or if I just wanted to doodle, draw faces, like trees, whatever you feel like drawing, just draw those. And then what I would do is I would take my iPhone and I would record the lessons while the professor's talking, and just doodle the whole time. The next thing I would do is I would combine the notes that you get from your classmates. Now, if you can't get the notes from like the official way, just try to make some friends. I'm sure you can just make a photocopy of someone else's notes, right? Especially if you're in college, then most people would want to help you, right? And you can maybe buy them like a coffee once in a while, and I'm sure that someone will be able to help you out, right? So I'll take the notes from a friend or from the office that's supposed to be helping you out. I would take my iPhone, record the lectures, and then I would go back to my sketchbook that I drew the pictures in, and I would play the lecture and then take the notes that I got from my friend or the office and then put them on the sketchbook. So I'll listen to the notes, listen to the lecture, look at the notes, look at my sketchbook, and I would kind of, as I was drawing, you probably have an association with what you were drawing and what the professor was saying, right? I would draw like around the area where you were drawing when the professor was talking, and then you have kind of like a visual map of the content in relation to what you were doing while you were listening to it. And then also you have like this really accurate set of notes, and then you also have the audio. So with all 3 of these combined, you can kind of get to the notes a lot better than if you were just sitting there trying to like write down all these facts while you were trying to pay attention, while you were trying to, you know, spell things correctly, while you were trying to focus, right? So what you are doing when you're, you know, breaking those down into little steps is you're only focusing on the things that you're kind of able to like process at that same exact time, and then you're using like notes, audio, and your sketch itself to kind of cue you in on the important things, and then you would just, you know, kind of take notes that way. Now these next 2 tips are for if you're not for dyslexia, but they're really more geared towards ADHD. So the first of those tips is to get on an ADHD diet. So I've made a video called How to Treat ADHD without using drugs. It's linked. I'll link into the cards up here, but check that out. In that video, I kind of talk about like the things that you should avoid if you're trying to, you know, stay focused while you have ADHD and reduce your symptoms, and some things that you should eat and some things you should avoid eating. And some of the things that you should definitely avoid eating, and in college this is really hard to do, but you should stop drinking coffee, stop drinking alcohol. and gluten, and also processed food. These 4 things are really bad for people with ADHD because they make the symptoms of ADHD a lot worse. So work on that. Cut out all those things out of your diet, and then start taking fish oil and vitamin B. And that should kind of help reduce your ADHD and help you get focused when you need to be in class and doing your studyings and things like that. The second tip I have for people with ADHD in college is to pick one spot that you're going to create as your study spot. So it could be anywhere in campus, or it could even be in your dorm room, but try to find a place that's just yours, and then this is the place that you always go to. This is like your go-to spot every time you need to study. And when you step into this place, that's like it's go time. And when you go into this place, also make sure there isn't any distractions. So don't really go there with all your friends. Don't bring your cell phone with your Facebook and all those like social media stuff to it. This is just a kind of like a temple that you go to get your work done and get your mind in a state to do your work, right? So first step, get rid of bad eating habits. Second tip, find a place that's just your place to study, and you don't do anything else in that place. Don't bring your friends there. That's just your place of focus, and then this will kind of help you kind of get your head where you need to get, right? Fifth tip, and this is for dyslexics. Now, in college, they probably give you a lot of reading to do, and that's probably one of our worst nightmares. Is we hate, having all these textbooks that we got to read, and we're really, really slow at it. So it can take us hours and hours and hours and hours to kind of get through these books, right? So one tip that I can give you guys right now that I wish I had when I was in college, and the technology was just getting started, is text-to-speech. Now there's a lot of different text-to-speech applications that you can use, but something that I recommend using is something called Natural Reading. I think it's a free application. All you have to do is go download it, or you can even use the web browser to get it. And what you can do is you can take PDFs, you can take EPUB files, which are like what the Kindle or the iPhone uses. You can actually throw those into that software, and what it'll do is it'll actually read to you the text in a pretty, like 80% what a human would be reading to you at. And another thing you can do with that application is you can kind of speed it up, so you can go like 3 times the speed of like what it would normally take a human to read, and you can kind of go through a lot of text really fast doing this method. So one thing I would do is I wouldn't just turn it on and do other things. What I would do is I would actually listen to it and the cool thing about this software is like it'll actually kind of highlight the words as it's reading, so you can kind of make sense of it. So I would just stare at the screen while it's reading, and then stop it, take some notes, and then play it, take some notes, play it, take some notes. Another thing you can do is actually you can go back to your sketchbook where you wrote down your original notes and combine it with your audio, and then I would just write the notes right on top of there, so that way you guys have all this rich references that you can add to your reading as well. Alright, so the next tip, these next 4 tips are not really generated or geared towards people with ADHD or dyslexia or either, but they're just really good tips that I wish, if I could go back to college, that I would kind of implement. These are some of the things I wish I would have done in college, right? So tip number 1 when it comes to that is we'll try to wake up at 4 o'clock every morning. 4 o'clock in the morning every morning, because this is an idea that I got from a book called Deep Work, and in this book it talks about how waking up at 4 is something that a lot of successful people have been practicing for a long period of time. And the reason why it's so successful is you can kind of get most of the important things in your life done even before everyone else wakes up, right? So imagine being able to like have all your studying done before your roommates even wake up, right? So this is just a method you can use to kind of get ahead and to get the most important things done before like pushing it off to the side, right? And it kind of becomes a habit, and over time you can get better and better and better at being more efficient at this kind of stuff. The second thing that I will suggest is to invest time in good relationships. Now, when you guys go to college, there's like 3 types of relationships that you should really invest in, because when you're in college, people are really much more open to having these relationships and much more willing to invest their time and energy back in you, right? The first type of relationship that you should invest in is with your classmates, right? So find people that are, you know, at your level of like intensity, at your level of ambition, at your level of intelligence, at your level of interest, all these different things, and then find a few of those people. They don't have to be like party animals. They don't have to be, you know, the coolest people in the world. You just gotta find a few people that are, you know, having the same type of passions as you, and then really just invest your time in getting to know these people. Because when you're in college, it's a good time for people to make new friends, right? So everyone's coming there with all their social ties disconnected, right? So their family's not there, their old friends are not there, and their, you know, high school schoolmates and all those people are not there. So they want to make new friends. So this is a good opportunity for you to, you know, actually make some connections that otherwise you wouldn't have been able to make. The second type of person that you want to make good connections with is your professors. So these people are really smart, right? They're professors and they have some industry connections and they have wisdom that you don't have and your classmates don't have, and maybe your teachers don't even have in high school, and maybe your parents don't even have, and you know, when you were at your house. So try to build some relationships with at least one or two professors, and then try to get them to kind of be your mentor, right? Like you don't have to officially say, hey, will you be my mentor, but like make some connections, make some effort to engage with them outside of just, you know, in your classroom. Like maybe write some emails, maybe go to the office hours. Really make an effort to spend some time with these people, because you never know what you know, what kind of help they can provide you even after you graduate, right? So that's the second type of relationship that you should invest in. The third type of relationship that you should really invest in is relationships with other adults in the campus. So go to the alumni office. Go check out go to the restaurants. Go to the places where the alumni would hang out in. And these people are generally people that love the university. That's why they, you know, come back and hang out in those cafes and things like that. And they also generally want to help other people who are in their university. So like the young people, they want to mentor you guys. So if I can go back, I would definitely spend a lot of time in the alumni offices and try to make some connections with some of these, you know, successful people that have come back and they want to kind of contribute to the success of you, right? So those are the three types of relationships that you really should invest in. Oh, and the last thing is you want to, like, so you know, when you take a university course, when you take a diploma, when you try to get a certificate or whatever, there's a bunch of classes that you have to take. And you know, you have to go through those and take those, but I would suggest, if I could, one thing you should do is try to take a few classes every semester. You don't even have to take them for a grade. Just, you know, stop in there, check it out. Just try to take a few classes that just kind of interest you, but is not required for your degree. Because these are the type of classes that are kind of like no pressure, and they give you a lot of inspiration and influence on what you're going to be doing outside of after you graduate. Because most likely you're not going to be doing the thing that you got your degree for. Like, I think only like 25% of the people that has a degree actually work in the field that they got a degree for. So get some inspiration. Go to some classes that you might not necessarily have to go to. For example, when I was at UCSB, I took this class on entrepreneurship, and that was the best class that I've took at UCSB. I took a bunch of science classes, but this entrepreneurship class really got me thinking about a lot of different things that I would have never thought had I not have taken that classes. And I made some really good friends in that class, and also I made a big mind shift, like a mental shift in the way I thought about business, the way I thought about money, and the way I thought about success. So those are like some 10 different tips that you guys should kind of consider if you're in college. And also if you're going back to college, this is something that you should consider. And if I was going back to college, and I might go back to get a master's or a PhD or an MD, or I don't know, I might go back to college for something, and these are some of the things that I'm gonna be doing if I ever go back. Alright, you guys, I'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot. Bye. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. There's gonna be a lot more content like this coming up. I love you. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If this is your first time here, I'd love for you guys to subscribe. If you like this video, you can hit the like button to support the channel, and let me know your thoughts on the comment section. Thanks again. See you next time.